1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Check. Okay, we're live. Let's just make sure that we can get some comments going. So we'll start out with a howdy. And let's see where that takes us. Okay, well, happy Friday for yours joining us on the call. And that said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and we'll definitely get started here. So this round we're going to be talking the live stream for 2023. Let's Talk Fishing. This could be the first in the series. In this case, we're going to be talking about the first fish yours truly caught for 2023, as well as, well, some other things, some upcoming, fishing things and other fishing happenings that I've been getting into. So, hey, stay tuned here. And if you decide to, or if any questions come up, definitely ping me on the in the chat, and I should be able to view it and hopefully answer your questions or see your comments. And hey, let's talk fishing. All right, so first fish for 2023. I caught it on a micro fly rod, and let's show you what I did. And we haven't caught a fish yet, so well. Let's see if we can get our first fish of 2023 knocked out. We're going to take out the micro fly rod and a little nip that we picked up at the Blue River. I just fished a local pond over. Okay, and this is that micro fly rod that I made out of a really tiny, I don't know, reel, as well as a broken 8-weight fly rod that, well, I repurposed it because, well, I don't like throwing a good fishing rod away, especially if there's some good parts yet to be had. And it's made a great micro fly rod for yours truly and for other things. And, well, it got me into the first fish of the year for 2023, as well, fish 1 through 5. Over here at our local park, Celebration Park. Wish us luck. Let's try over here by the boat ramp. Yep, there's the hit. Barely felt them. Bring them in. Nice. Do it again. First fish of the year is going to be a sunfish. Alrighty. That was the first fish of the year. Nice. What I'd like you to just take away from this video is the technique I was using. In this case, I'm watching the end of my line and looking for any movement, be it a strike and whatnot. So watch this.
Any ticks.
I think this one's going to be a real slight hit.
Got him.
Right there. Alright, so I'm just watching the end of my fly line. And so this round I ended up getting 5 of these guys. I was using this nymph from the Blue River.
Right there, little jig.
And that was the first fish of the year 2023. Alrighty. So what did that mean, or what did that kind of trigger from a fishing standpoint? Well, that micro fly rod kind of got me into taking a look at, my center pin fishing reel or setup. So I took the center pin and I made some adjustments, and I took it off the downrigger rod and I put it on the switch rod. And so it's got still a two-handed rod, but now I can... it's got a smaller butt section, but it's really light. And I ended up taking out today, caught some bullheads over there at the local pond. I think there's some big ones over there as well. But the main takeaway with the center pin is I do want to take it over to Leela. That's Lake Louisville Lake Environmental Learning Area, and see if I can do some drifting and float fishing with this. But what happened is I normally fish where I fly fish with my right hand and then I reel with my right hand, so I swap hands. Well, in this case, with the center pin, I'm forcing myself to cast with my right and reel with my left. And so I decided to take one of my other fly rods and swap them out. And so I just reversed this Echo Ion 4-weight, and now it's a left-hand retrieve, and I'm casting with my right hand. And, I'm starting to get used to it. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up switching all my fly reels, so it makes it a little bit easier for catching a fish or two, you know what I mean? So anyways, with that, I've been itching to go to Leela. It got stocked here recently, so let's take a look at some of that. This is Louisville Lake Environmental Learning Area. It's the tail race to Louisville, and it was recently stocked per the Texas Parks and Wildlife trout stocking schedule right here. You can see Louisville tail race. That is Louisville Ecological Learning Area, and you can see here there's 3,000 trout that were targeted to be stocked. And so it'll be split between two stockings, one that was done this past week, or this week, January 3rd, and the other one's going to be following in February. And what's nice about this, keep in your back pocket, is over the years, city of Louisville tends to augment that stocking with some larger size, with some larger size trout. So something to think about. One thing to also remember is Louisville Lake has an entry fee, and I think I saw somewhere where they're not taking cash anymore. You'll take debit, credit cards, or whatnot for the entry, so keep that in your back pocket when you decide to go there. And they do have some different hours. They used to be just open on the weekends. Now they're open throughout the week. I think they mentioned that they were closed November 24 back in Thanksgiving. Hey, but the holidays are done, so it should be business as normal as now. And, well, hey, let's take a look at some of the stuff that I've done in the past over there at Louisville Lake, and hopefully I'll be taking that center pin out there. Let's just switch over real quick, and right here. This is Lake Louisville, or Louisville Lake Environmental Learning Area, and let's just run that video. Ecological Learning Area. It's also called locally Lila, and we hadn't been here for a while, and probably about 2-3 years. We normally come here when the trout are stocked here in the winter. But it's here October right now, so it's going to be a little bit more before they stock. And what we want to do is just take a look at what the river's looking like and what the tail race area is, and see what we got. And bottom line, this is the tail race. Okay, we're here at Lake Louisville Ecological Learning Area. It's also called locally Lila, and we hadn't been here for a while, and probably about 2-3 years. We normally come here when the trout are stocked here in the winter. But it's here October right now, so it's going to be a little bit more before they stock. And what we want to do is just take a look at what the river's looking like and what the tail race area is, and see what we got. And bottom line, this is the tail race to Lake Louisville here in the city of Louisville in Texas. So we're just going down the one road, and shortly we'll be in the parking area, and hopefully we can get a good idea of what it's going to be like, and maybe we might be able to get some fish. All right, we're coming up on the parking area. It looks like there's a few folks fishing over there. We asked the attendant, and they mentioned that there were some folks fishing, but couldn't tell how the action was, so we'll see here in a little bit. So wish us luck. All right, so we're here at Lila, Lake Louisville Ecological Learning Area. Got the switch rod out, size 6. We're using a Clouser minnow, a craft fur one that we used up at Denison Dam. It's a chartreuse and white, and we've gotten a couple of hits so far, but so far we've missed. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so far we've seen folks catching some white bass, yellow bass, maybe even some hybrids. So far on our switch rod, we've gotten several misses, so we haven't hooked up yet, but we're sure to hope that we do shortly. We're just going to walk over to the other side. Okay, and one of the things I'm doing in that particular video, or at least section, is I'm walking across the back area so I can get to this other side of the river. And at this case, I didn't have any luck with the trout and whatnot, but there were a lot of buffalo in the area, and so I ended up catching some nice ones over there using my switch rod.
They're looking like they're going for.
Okay, we're here at
Able to get them, but unfortunately, most of the time, they're looking like they're going for the fly, and then they turn away. And what ended up happening is this: we end up, sure enough, foul hooking instead of getting them like we wanted to. But they did have some interest in the fly, and unfortunately, they would turn around or turn away, or at least we'd miss that hook set. All right, so speaking of hook sets, here's one where we got him on the line, and he's taking out the fly line, and we're trying to bring him in, and we end up missing this one.
Got him that time.
And yes, we got him this time. And like we were saying, we were a lot of hits and misses. In this case, we had him coming to the line or coming to the fly. We set the hook, and unfortunately, didn't get him in the mouth. We ended up getting him, I believe, on the side. But he put a really good fight, put a really nice bend on that 6-weight, and maybe it took us a couple of minutes to bring him in. And once we did get him there, I had to deal with some of the algae and whatnot, but we did get this guy in hand, and we're able to at least get a good view of him up close.
Okay, so as a heads up, again, that's Louisville Lake Environmental Learning Area. They just got stocked this past January 3rd, and so there's a good opportunity catching a trout or two there, as well as well, over the years I've seen that there's been buffalo and carp there as well. I'm hoping to use that center pin reel. I went out today to the local pond just to get more practice in, as well as that switch rod that's in that video. I've put that one on the center pin, or I should put the center pin reel on there, and it worked out really nice. It's very light, lighter than the downrigger rod that I was using, and that extra length, that 11.5 foot versus the 8 foot, 8.5 of the downrigger, has made a difference when it comes to casting. And then I would say it is the most drag-free presentation I've had when it comes to fishing. Didn't have any issues with the catfish or whatnot dropping the bait. So I'm hoping when it comes to trout, well, maybe the same thing will happen there. Alrighty. So that is the intent with the center pin, taking out the Louisville Lake Learning or Ecological Learning Area. Additionally, from the recent trout stockings, you got Possum Kingdom over there by Highway 6, that bridge crossing. That's always been a good one. Saw some recent videos from other folks that have been out there. And a double duty there is, one, you can catch some trout, and you can also catch some stripers. So that's always been fun. Additionally, the Blue River just got its second catch and release trout stocking this past week. So there is a good opportunity to get some more of those bruiser-sized trout for the catch and release. And hey, maybe keep that in your back pocket, because eventually it's going to be a put-and-take fishery later in March. They'll open up that catch and release area. So keep that in your back pocket when you're out there at the catch and release section and you are catching a fish or two there. Let's see. Locally, Waterloo Park up over there in Denison, or Waterloo Park Pond, has been stocked. It's going to get multiple stockings. There's going to be some derbies as well, and there's a really, if you really want to catch a fish real quick, it's a small pond, so you got a really good chance of catching fish there. And then from a recent happenings, quick updates. Let's see. Some recent videos I posted. This is one, how I check my hook is barbless. This is one that I've done in the past. I find that it's been useful.
Oh, that's a nicey.
And in this case, I'm just showing that I'm at the Blue River, and I've got to do a barbless hook, and I've mashed it down. But
all right.
I was asking the question, how do you know it's been mashed down good enough?
All right.
And so found out that there were some folks up in the Arkansas,
nicely
Missouri
wet.
area. When
gone.
it came to
How do you
getting
make
checked.
sure that your hook is barbless? Well, you mash it down, grab your shirt or a piece of cloth. Okay, you should be able to stick it in the cloth, in and out, without it catching. If it catches, then you probably need to go and mash it down some more. Do that again here. So, see how it's just going in and out, coming out without sticking.
So that's what I do when I make sure I have a barbless hook if I'm fishing a catch and release or an area that requires it. Hey, quick check, just grab your shirt and pop it through. If it's sticking, you better mash it down some more. All right, other updates. I did post one about the use of tippet rings. This is where instead of using a barrel or blood knot to tie your leader to your tippet, you have this thing called a tippet ring. And what you do is you tie that to the end of the leader, and then going forward, you just keep replacing it the tippet section, and you never have to cut the leader itself because you're tying to this tippet ring. And one of the things that I've heard over the years is some folks have a hard time putting that tippet ring on there. Well, it turns out they were taking out the tipping ring off the swivel itself, and instead of leaving it on the snap swivel that it comes in the package with, they were trying to use their fingers, and they'd lose them, and next thing you know, you're gonna have to go grab another one. And so what I find is just leave that tippet ring on the snap swivel that it came with, and tie in your tippet, and then and you're good to go. Or tie it into your leader, and then attach your tippet to it, and you're good to go. You won't lose it. And then I did learn something also when it comes to center pin fishing. I took a tippet ring and I use that now at the end of the center pin reel or center pin rod setup, and I take a snap swivel and a length of line, and I tie it either to the hook or the fly, so that I have, like, right now I've got about 10 different ones. And in fact, I'll show you here shortly, but I've got different ones where if I decide to switch out a particular lure or hook, I can do so by just leaving that tippet ring attached to the center pin setup, and just keep swapping out these different rigs. And so that was a good tip. I learned it online from another individual who was getting into center pin fishing about a year or two ago. So he's way ahead of me when it comes to that. I've only used a center pin rod now about maybe 4 or 5 times. So in fact, stay tuned. I got some bullheads that I caught using that center pin here. I'll get that posted here in the next few. Let's see. The other one is try these 2 recipes. Okay, so over the years, I catch trout. Love catching trout. And then when you cook them, I was normally just pan frying them and just going from there. Some salt, pepper, and whatnot. So decided to play around with it, and just like I think I heard, do like the Dalai Lama says, and cook with reckless abandon. So I cooked with reckless abandon, and I came up with these 2 recipes. One is a pan-fried garlic butter trout that you fillet, and you have over a bed of rice pilaf and some garlic butter sauce. And the other one's just straight pan frying with some seasoned salt, and you're adding some Thai chilies in the cavity and frying it, so you get a little spiciness to it. So that was been pretty good. Then again, back to that micro fly rod. That's one that I've been really happy with. You'll probably see me fishing more between the micro fly rod, the center pin, and this new setup where I've started retrieving now a fly rod with my left hand, even though I'm right-handed. So previously, I was casting with my right hand, and then I would switch and retrieve my left hand, and then I was mainly just pulling the line. But ever since I got into center pin fishing, I've gotten the muscle memory to where I can just keep the reel left-handed retrieve, so I can cast, set the hook, and then go ahead and take up line as well as pull line if I want, all with one hand without having to switch hands. So hey, maybe that might increase some of my landing rates when it comes to some of those bruisers that I've lost over the years. Alrighty. So with that is all I had this round. I do have that upcoming center pin reel where I'm catching, or video where I'm catching some pond bullheads. I'll get that one out, and hopefully you might catch one or see a video where I'm catching something bigger than those bullheads using that center pin setup. Kind of hooked it with that style, but I'm also hooked on the Bait Finesse ultralight bait casting setups as well. So I've got a bunch of equipment and whatnot, and so over the course of years, all I do is really just start grabbing a rod and just flip flopping it through. So I store them up in the 3 walls, and then in this back corner over here, let's see, in this back corner over there is where those are the ones that I use for that given time frame. So right now I've got some Bait Finesse rods there. I've got the center pin outrigger rod that I was using, but I'm going to probably start using that switch rod instead. And that said, that's all I got for now. So do stay tuned, and hopefully I've got maybe I might have some better action shots out in the field here shortly. All right. Till next time, we'll catch y'all later, and good luck and good fishing.